Hello everybody and welcome to Power Motorsports. My name is Mr. McGee. I'm the instructor of the program here at Parkway West Career Technical Center. This video is designed basically for the first year students. I'd like to put this video out there to give you an opportunity to get generalized familiarization with the program. As I may have mentioned or may not have, this is the second year of this program. We have a lot of things still in development, but primarily just to give you some scope of what's going to be going on in your first year. You're new, there's a lot of uncertainties and everything like that. I'm hoping that this video can fill in some of those gaps for you. Okay, so what you can expect in general of the first year here in Power Motorsports is a lot of small engine work, primarily lawnmowers, weed whackers, hedge trimmers, things of that sort. The smaller engines we want to get you a year of the fundamentals so that you can understand and be more versed at doing the repairs when we get to the second, third, and fourth years, where they are, motorcycles, side-by-sides, ATVs, eventually some watercraft, things of that nature. But again, I just want to let you know right up front, the primary focus of year one is small engines. So you're going to see a lot of lawnmower engines, a whole lot of lawnmower engines. Anything from a single cylinder to a V-twin, an opposed twin. You'll be going over how to work with metal, how to drill and tap holes, how to remove broken bolts, how to do the primary necessary repairs to an engine before we can move on to the second year. This is the first video, and the object of this video is, again, to show you around the place, show you where tools are, go through basic fundamental shop rules, the flow of things. I will add, if the videos and the instruction that I give aren't enough, please reach out to a second year student. They are super students. They are more than willing to help, and they can help bring you along on whatever questions that either I'm busy with another student and can't help you, or something was unclear. Please feel free to reach out to a second year student. They are very helpful. So we're going to get ready here and we're going to take a look around the shop, and I'm just going to talk to you about basic things that you need to know from the get-go. Now, every student is required to have a lock and a locker. Okay, you are required. Please don't try to negotiate this with us here. It's in the school handbook. You are required to get yourself a lock from up at the business office. I want to say approximately $6 for a lock. You cannot bring your own lock. I do have some locks left from last year. You're more than welcome if they're available. If not, you'll have to go purchase one. Keep your articles of clothing, your uniforms, your steel-toed shoes, everything in these lockers. Lock them up at the end of the day. They're safe and sound. If you don't lock them, then you are what we call leaving your items up for the possibility of donating to another student. When I say that, that means basically if somebody sees a locker unlocked, they will come in sometimes and help themselves to your stuff. So please take the time when you get your uniform, and you are required to purchase at least 2 shirts. I would recommend getting at least 2 shirts, if not 3, because you're going to need to take these home and get them washed from time to time. So you're going to need shirts. You're going to need work pants. Now, you can go to a place like Walmart or anywhere of that sort and buy yourself some, I would prefer just black work pants. However, blue jeans that are not torn are acceptable to use. You will also need a pair of safety shoes. These safety shoes have to have a steel or composite reinforced toe. So please make sure that you have these items by have them by the 3rd week. I'm hoping to be in the shop by the 3rd week here, folks. Okay, boys' locker room. This is where we will go over what they call our Nocti question of the day, and any of the lectures. If I need to write anything on a whiteboard, this is where it will happen. Over here is you guessed it, the girls' locker room. Same thing. Please, 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 you will need to have a lock for your locker. Combination lock. If you don't have, or if I don't have enough here for you, you'll have to go up to the business office and buy them, okay? As far as the locker rooms, please don't leave a mess on the floor. If your clothes are getting smelly, you know, you're gonna be working on them. Sometimes it gets hot out in the shop. Please take them home and we'll get them washed. Okay, enough about the locker rooms. During class, if some unforeseen reason we don't have the Chromebooks available to us, right up here on this shelf, this is where you will find the textbooks. The upper shelf is 1st year. The lower shelf is where all the 2nd year, the motorcycle technology books are, as well as some other service manuals and things of that nature. Okay, so classroom. I'm speculating for the first half of the year that there will be assigned seating for you. So I will probably, the way I'm probably going to work this is I'll keep the 1st year students on the left, closest to me, so that I can keep an eye, see if anything's going on, see if you're struggling or anything like that. 2nd year students will be over on the right side of me. As I had said earlier, if and when you need Chromebooks, they are in this cabinet. A little bit about these Chromebooks. I don't know if I have this locked. It is locked right now. There are 30 Chromebooks within here, which should be more than enough for what we're doing. Each Chromebook has a number. At the beginning of the year, I will assign you a slot here for your cell phone. I'm just going to come right out and tell you, I'm zero tolerant to cell phones. They are a huge distraction, and I catch many a student on them. I catch you on your cell phone. First of all, you're supposed to have your cell phone up here, and I'll have a chart, okay, as to where your cell phone will belong within these slots. Whatever number slot your cell phone goes in here, let's say you're assigned slot number 9 here for your cell phone. Do yourself a favor, over here in the Chromebook cart, when you're doing any work, take the number 9 Chromebook as well. Here's why. So typically what's going to happen is you're going to screw up and you're going to leave your Chromebook logged on and you're going to put it away. Then somebody else is going to come out and they're going to grab that Chromebook and they're going to be, oh, so-and-so left their Chromebook logged in. Let's see what I can do. Well, we'll change their profile. We'll do a little of this. We'll have a little bit of fun with it. And next thing you know, you got a lot of problems with your grades and your profile and everything being all messed up. So by me assigning you a phone, a slot for your phone and having the same Chromebook, it minimizes the chances of somebody hacking your stuff. Trust me, it's for your own good. This just works out better this way. So again, Chromebook and the phone slot, whatever slot you have for your cell phone, use the same Chromebook. Okay, these cabinets right here, These are for our specialty tools. While we're working out there in the shop, if the tools we have in the toolbox aren't enough, we have things like torque wrenches, impact sockets, impact drivers, battery operated drills, battery operated ratchets in this first cabinet. This second cabinet, we have all types of drill bits, screw extractors, air tools. It's basically specialty tools, okay? If we need anything that the toolboxes don't provide, you're gonna come to these. And you're also gonna notice there is a sign-out sheet. If you need something from here, you will need to sign it out. I'm a stickler on accountability, so please sign out the tool, sign it back in. That way there, by you signing it back in and I verify it, you're exemplified of any problems, okay? I verify that you signed the tool back in, I go for it the next day and it's missing, that's not your fault. But if I don't verify that you signed it back in and it's missing, now we got a problem. So just take these steps to, cover yourself. If you sign out a tool, make sure you sign it back in. Another point of interest when you look around this classroom as far as safety goes, and I forgot to mention this, but again, there will be many other there will be other videos that come along. Over here in this corner, right where we come in, is an eye wash station. If the unforeseen should happen and you get battery acid or anything in your eyes and you need to flush them out, this is where we need to come right away. In addition to notifying an instructor. Okay, let's move on to the shop. Okay. We come out into the shop, number one thing, nobody comes out here unless they have safety glasses on and uniform. Let me reiterate that. Nobody comes out here unless we have our safety glasses and we have our safety shoes, work pants without holes in them, and a Parkway West Power Motorsports shirt on. Now, if it's cold, and sometimes it does get chilly out here, it is fine to wear a hoodie or a sweatshirt or anything else like that over your Parkway uniform. I'm totally cool with that. I get it. This shop is not always the warmest place. So anyhow, we cross over this line from the classroom, all right, yeah, into the shop. We gotta have safety glasses on. We have to have our PPE, our proper protective equipment on. Okay, we got that out of the way. Now, primarily, first-year students, these are your workstations. This is where you will be dissecting engines. This is where you'll be documenting all your work. The drawers and cabinet doors underneath are for you to store parts. As you can see, it's a little bit messy here from the summer camp. I still have to get through here and get this all cleaned off and everything organized. But there are 6 workstations here. Typically what's going to happen is I will team you up in groups of 2, hopefully not more than that, but groups of 2, and this is where you will be doing all your engine work. We have lots of donor engines here to experiment with, engines that will never run again, but they're great learning tools. So we have all this stuff over here. Coming around through the shop, you will note safety equipment here. We have a fire blanket. We have a fire extinguisher. We have to make sure that those items are not blocked. Okay. Our second-year students are primarily going to be working in this region right here. We're going to have, obviously, motorcycles, dirt bikes, and ATVs and stuff of that, things of that nature to be working on. That is second year. That's what that's about. They are working over here. These cabinets back here, I keep these for storage. If there is a project in which one of these bikes is totally disassembled and these parts will wind up, we'll keep them in here in an organized fashion. We look around the shop, you're going to notice that there are 4 large tables right here as well. Any spillover work that, you know, our workstations over there that we can't handle, or if I have you guys broken up into groups while maybe half of you are working on engines, maybe half of you are working on some of your other projects, this is where that will happen. We have shop air, we have electricity, we have vices, everything here on these benches that you may need. We have parts washers. These parts washers, the parts washers, the lifts, anything of that sort, you cannot use until you've been checked out on. Once we make sure that you're safe and understand the do's and don'ts of stuff like this equipment, then you're good to go. This is our blasting cabinet that we use for paint removal or rust removal or anything of that nature. Again, you'll be doing some activities here. You get signed out on it, you're good to go. That will be one of the things that you've got to contend with. Over here we have 2 tire machines. The red one is more for the larger wheels like ATVs, even car tires. Sometimes we wind up with those. We also have a smaller one which is designed for motorcycle wheels specifically. So these are your mowers that you will be working with. Looking to try to get some more mowers. The more we have, the more you guys get. We can, obviously we made some profits on them last year. Some of these mowers were actually fixable. We fix them up, we sell them, and then we raise money for the program. We raise money for the program whenever there's events that come up, like the spring and fall festivals. Then instead of you having to buy tickets to go to these festivals, well, if we earn the money, then you don't have to buy tickets. The program covers it. And that's really about it for a general overview of the shop. Here again, one other last safety item. We have a bleeding control kit, and we have a first aid kit. All our bandages and things of that nature may we never have to use, but that is the whole thing in a nutshell. This is a general overview of what you have. Okay, so this part of the video, the indoctrination video, we're going to talk a little bit about classroom rules. Now, it's been said that I can be a little bit tough, but in this industry, I've seen a lot of people unnecessarily hurt. Why were they hurt? Well, some of them were truly accidents, but a lot of them were just people doing stupid stuff. Unfortunately, you know, I get it. You're young, you're gonna wanna goof around, you know, you always wanna, you know, I don't wanna use the word grab ass, but that's basically what it comes down to. You're goofing around, you think it's funny, you think it's hilarious until somebody gets hurt. It's the old thing. It's one of the oldest things. You see the videos and you think it's cute when somebody goes to sit down and somebody pulls a chair out from underneath of them, but in the end they wind up busting a tailbone, and that kind of thing stays with you for life. So ask any of my second-year students, am I tough? I can be. Do I have a zero tolerance for horseplay? Absolutely. The main reason is because of what I've seen. I don't want to see people getting hurt. I want you going home at the end of the day with all your fingers, all your toes. I don't want you going home with metal sprinkles in your eyes. It's not good. So I do have some basic rules I'm going to talk about here real briefly, just so you know. By watching this video, you might be able to better understand the reasons why. Okay, number one, when you arrive in the morning or in the afternoon, well, 11:40 for the PM, 7. Yeah, I don't even have the times on me right now, but anyhow, When the bell goes off, you should be seated, you should be quiet. Oftentimes I'm ready to begin just that quick. I've already done attendance, and the last person to walk in, if you're there before the bell, chances are I've already got you marked in. So there are times that we'll start, depending on the workload, we'll start immediately. So when the bell rings, you should be in your seat, you should be quiet, you shouldn't be fussing around, you shouldn't be waiting to turn your phone in. Your phone should already be turned in behind me here, as you can see. And as I've said before, I really don't have the tolerance for cell phones in the classroom. Why? Number one, it's in the rule book. There are to be no electronic devices used in class unless I permit it. And there will be times when you're doing a disassembly out there in the shop, you're like, hey, go grab your phone, take pictures before you disassemble something. That way there, when you're going back together, you have that phone reference, you have pictures to help you put it back together. Yes, I do encourage it from time to time. The cell phone, I'm not against them, they're a good tool. They're just not good when you're texting with your friends in the classroom. I do not have tolerance for that. I'm sorry, but that's the way it is. That's school policy. The first time I catch you with your cell phone, well, it should be up there anyhow. The first time I catch you with your cell phone, I will give you a verbal warning. I will still write you up, but it will be handled in class. The second time I have to deal with it, it will be a call home. The third time, the third write-up will be a trip up to the office. And at that point, they, per school policy, will take your phone and you will not get it till the end of the day. All right, so number one, please be in your seat, be ready, be prepared when the class starts. Second, if you enter the classroom after the bell rings, if you do not have a late pass, you might as well just turn around and go right back up to the office and get one. Because if you enter because whatever reason, if you come in the classroom after the late bell ring or after the bell rings, you need to have a late pass from up at the front office. If it's a bus issue and you've got a bus pass, you know, a late bus slip, that's no big deal. But again, if you come in that main entrance up there and you know you're not going to make it in time for the bell, stop off and get a late pass. Be proactive instead of reactive. Okay, if you have any questions, please, I love questions. Fire away at me, please. If you've got them, ask them. If you have questions during the lecture, please don't just blurt them out. Raise your hand. Raise your hand. I'll be happy to answer any questions, okay? Just courteous, okay? Now, these are just, again, we're just going over basic classroom rules here. If you need to go to the restroom, I get it, you're gonna have to. Over here is where our sign-out sheet is for the restroom. Obviously, if you gotta go, you gotta go. You know, I get it. However, if you come to me 3 and 4 times a day saying that you need to go to the restroom, we're gonna have an issue with that. Once a day, not a problem. You really shouldn't have any more issues than that. And even per the rule book, per the student handbook, anything more than 1 trip to the restroom a day is going to be an issue. We'll address that at another time. But just make sure, number 1, that you let me know, and number 2, that you sign out. And you'll have to take a hall pass. If you go out there in the hall and you don't have a hall pass, and Officer Hall gets you, then you wind up in a lot of trouble. So let's just be proactive there instead of reactive. Make sure you take this hall pass with you, or whatever hall pass we have out there for the day. Okay, as I said before, please, horseplay won't be tolerated. No running, pushing, tripping. The list, people are always thinking of new devilish things to do to get into, to get, you know, trouble. Please don't. It's not funny to see somebody shorting out an electrical outlet. As a matter of fact, you can get a lot of trouble at the school for doing that. Though some think it's cute, Certain offenses will get you immediate trips to the office versus a verbal warning or a call home. Some of them will take you directly to the front office. Let's not have it come to that. Horseplay, you're getting into one of those areas where you can get in a whole lot of trouble real quick. Okay? Assignments. Typically, every chapter that we do is 2 weeks long. It'll start on a Monday. Let's say it starts on Monday the 1st of a month. We're going to run through that week, and at the end of the second week, which that would be what, approximately like the 12th, all your assignments are due by Friday of that second week that a chapter starts. So if we start on Monday the 1st, chances are 10th, yeah, again, let's just say the 12th, all your assignments in Schoology are due. Typically, there are 2 different assignments that you're going to be looking at. You're going to have a test. The test will only be open on that Friday, unless you're sick. If you're sick, then we'll extend that to whatever needs be. When you come back, okay, let's say you are sick. The first day that you're back into school, you need to come approach me, and we will set it up. You'll have approximately 3 days to get that test made up. No harm, no foul, no points taken, everything's legit. However, the key terms that you are assigned to every 2 weeks are due the Friday that they're due. If you're absent, they're late. If you're absent and don't turn them in, you're late. The reason being is you have, that assignment is open for 2 full weeks for you to get it done. So make sure, if you're planning on taking a Friday off because it's going to be nice, or you're going wherever with whoever, make sure that it's turned in by Friday, okay? There's no exceptions for the key terms. The test, that's a different story. No food or drink is permitted in the shop, the classroom for that much, aside from water. I've seen it time and time again. You guys come in here, you got a Gatorade or a Monster Energy drink or anything like that, and sure enough, I know I'm going to be real careful with it, Mr. McGee. 30 seconds later, somebody turns around too quick, an arm hits it, and it's all over the floor. Then it's sticky. Then I'm getting reprimanded by building maintenance, so I'm not going to have that. So no food, no drinks in the classroom, definitely not in the shop. Please, while there's testing going on, be courteous. Ask yourself this. Would you not be annoyed if the person next to you was carrying on and talking with somebody else, and there you are trying to take a test, which these tests are open book. Let me repeat that. These tests are open book. The information is there for you to use, research, find the answers, and we'll go over that in the classroom, but the tests are open book. But when you're taking a test, please be considerate, and don't think that it's okay to ask somebody else for the answer, please. You can ask some of my students from last year. That will flip my switch real quick, and you'll wind up in a whole lot of trouble. So just be courteous when when there's testing going on. Even if you're done, be courteous. If you're done with your key terms, if you're done with your test, if all the SB2s are done and you're all caught up with everything, and you come up to me and say, Mr. McGee, do you mind if I use my phone because everybody else is still testing and I'm all done, and I verify it that you're all done, yes, I will give you your phone to use, okay? As long as you're not watching anything loud or obnoxious, and you're just keeping to yourself, everything will be cool. Okay, the use of cell phones is prohibited unless authorized by the instructor. Well, that just kind of goes back, unto itself. Okay, while you're taking your tests, while you're doing your key terms or your SB2s or any other assignments that you might be doing on the Chromebook, that is all you're limited to. The Chromebooks are for school use. The school has a program which is called Impero, and we can watch and see what you're doing on these Chromebooks. And you can wind up in a lot of trouble real quick. So please do yourself a favor. Use the Chromebooks professionally. Use them only for schoolwork. If you look on any of the walls here in the classroom, you will find this, and this is basically what I'm reading off to you. These are the classroom rules. Now I have another set of rules here momentarily I'm going to go over, which are the shop rules. Very similar, but nonetheless. All right, thank you. Okay, so the second part of the shop rules, classroom rules video, as we'll say, pertains to the actual shop and maintaining a safe environment in the shop. As I've said before, I've seen a lot of things, a lot of bad things happen in the field, from people goofing off and doing stuff that they shouldn't have been doing, or they weren't trained or signed off on something. I could sit here, you ask my second year students, I could talk about bad stories for hours. Believe me, I have a huge file of things I've seen that shouldn't have happened. So we're gonna go over a couple things just to remember when you hit the shop, okay? Number one, no horseplay. No horseplay at all, okay? I don't wanna see it. Always maintain a serious attitude while you're in the shop. If you maintain that, everybody goes home with everything that they came in with. Example given, fingers, toes, eyes, etc. Okay? Just please maintain a serious attitude in the shop. For the most part, okay? Yeah, I want you to have fun, but keep in mind there are things here that can hurt you, and they can hurt you quite badly, and we don't want that, okay? Keep your work areas clean. At the end of the day, at the end of your classroom, when you're coming towards the end and I holler it's time to clean up, get all your tools put away. Don't leave anything. If you have oil spills or anything, wipe them up. Tools, bolts, nuts, anything, okay? Keep your work areas clean and orderly. That way there, an organized job, things go much better in the end. If you take something off an engine, let's say you're doing an entire engine, here's a little tip. If you're doing a total engine teardown, the first component you take off, move that the farthest away, because that's going to be the last thing you put on. So it's an organized thing. As you'll see what I mean as you get in here and you start to see these things. Be organized. Keep the work area clean, all right? If you encounter any broken tools, let me know. If you break a tool, it's okay. You're here to learn. I'm not gonna get excited about it unless I see you doing something with a tool that I told you not to do and you break it. Then we got a problem. Listen, drill bits get broken all the time. Taps and dies get broken all the time. It's okay. Some of this stuff is real small, real fragile, easy to break. Wrenches, whatever it is, whatever gets broken, just let me know, okay? We'll deal with it, all right? So report any damaged, broken tools, equipment to me or your instructor, whoever that might be, immediately. Okay, report any unsafe conditions. If you see an oil slick somewhere, by God, let me know. Again, we don't want somebody falling and hitting their head or who knows. Okay, if you see an unsafe condition, if you see somebody doing something they shouldn't be doing, if somebody's over at the grinder and they don't have their proper PPE on, let me know. If you see somebody out there, I'm not saying rat them out, but come to me and say, hey, you may want to watch so-and-so. They don't have safety shoes on. I won't pull you on the carpet for it. I will address the situation. You're not a snitch. You have to look at it this way. You're possibly saving that person's toes. You're possibly saving that person's eyeballs, okay? And I'm not gonna use you as the, I'm not gonna say, well, so-and-so told me. Grab me on the side, alert me, And that's it. Your job is done. Thank you for helping me, avoid a possible situation. Okay? All right, safety glasses must be worn at all times in the shop. And here I am in the shop without safety glasses, but there's really not anything going on right now, is there? Okay, so if you see me without safety glasses, if you see anybody without safety glasses, remind them, remind me. I'm receptive, I get it. We get complacent, we make mistakes. I'll give you that one time. But if I continually see you out here without safety glasses on, now you're on my radar. Now we're gonna have to start having talks. Then we're gonna have to start talking with parents. And then the third strike, we're gonna start writing you up officially, sending you up to the office. I don't want that, okay? I'd rather keep it here. We can take care of this. We can take care of this ourselves, okay? Steel-toed work shoes or composite-toe work shoes, something of that nature. Not cowboy boots, not engineer boots, not Crocs, or anything that I've seen people try to slip in here with. They must have safety. You must have safety shoes. I value your toes probably more than you do, because having been out here and seeing what happens, you don't want to be losing these, so just wear your safety shoes, okay? Any equipment that you operate out here that is power equipment, the air grinders and stuff like that, not so much, but any of the lifts for the motorcycles and ATVs, okay? If we're using these, you need to be checked out on them. If you are using the bench grinder, you need to be checked out on it. If you are using the battery charge station, which happens to be right here, we need to be checked out on these things so that we don't do anything bad and hurt ourselves. So yeah, just make sure that we're signed up. If you're going to be using any power equipment, please give me the common courtesy to let me know. Second year students, well, last year they were doing engine run-ups and adjusting carburetors and some of this stuff. Let me know, please, so that I can accommodate and make sure that others are aware and we stay away. The airlines, we have many airlines in this shop for whatever purpose we may be using them for, be it for running a lift, be it for running an air grinder, or blowing parts off after we're done with the parts washer. Don't leave the airlines laying out. They're retractable. They wind themselves up. You just gotta help them along. So don't leave any airlines laying out on the floor. Oh, did I mention that you're not allowed to use cell phones? Did I have a thing about cell phones? Yeah, I did. Okay, unless, use of a cell phone in the class or shop is prohibited unless cleared by the instructor, okay? Like I said, there'll be times I'll tell you, hey, go get your phone. Go get your phone, you're gonna need it for this. Take pictures. Believe me, they are a good tool, but on the bad side, on the split side, there's a lot of wasted time on these cell phones, and there's a lot of material missed in the classroom because we're texting friends, tell them about what we're doing this afternoon or what we had for breakfast, and no, okay? And the last thing about the shop rules, PPE or personal protective equipment is mandatory. No ifs, ands, ors, or buts. Okay, thank you, and we'll move on to the next video. Okay, everybody, so this is the final video of the introduction. I hope that I covered everything to the best that I'm thinking I did, but obviously there'll be questions that will arise and things that I may have missed. Please, as I've said before, don't hesitate. If you got a question, I'd rather it be done right. So, come see me. I'll be glad to answer any questions. Again, this video is only for first-year students, and it's designed to help you along, hopefully to get a ground level understanding of the way things go here in Power Motorsports. Just to kind of recap, when you come in the mornings, please, by the time the bell rings, make sure that you're seated, make sure that you're, quiet and orderly. Don't have any food or drinks all over the place. If you're late, make sure you go get a bus pass or a late slip, depending. If it's a bus, you obviously get the bus pass. If you're late, you'll need one of the blue slips. Let's see, what else, what am I missing? Well, we're just reviewing. First year, primarily small engine, with the exception of chainsaws. I kind of shy away from that. But lawnmowers, weed whackers, hedge trimmers, rototillers. As a matter of fact, I got one out there right now that we're trying to get finished up. Some generators, anything that's power equipment engine related. You get into second year, now you're talking motorcycles and a whole lot of them. Third year is looking like it will be ATVs, side-by-sides, and fourth year will hopefully be like watercraft stuff. Again, third and fourth year is still in development, so there you have it. Please remember, you will need locks for your lockers. You will need proper protective equipment by the end of the third week, because at that point, we're going to be ready to hit the shop. So you need to get those things ready. So you have to purchase a lock. If I don't have enough of them here, I think I have about maybe nine or 10 of them. And I think I have approximately 30 students, so some of you will be buying locks. Make sure you got your PPE, your personal protective equipment. Again, I plan on being in the shop hopefully by the end of the third week. Tools, I like accountability for tools, so if you're taking a tool out, you're going to be signing out tool boxes. You've seen that, you've seen the videos on how everything works. And if there's any questions with Schoology, anything. Okay, so I'd like to take a couple minutes to try to explain the mystery of Schoology, to try to sum it up, simplify it, and make it easier for you all to understand. So, providing that this video is clear enough, which I believe it is, what we're looking at is the whole year's worth of Power Motorsports Year 1 equipment engine technology. Everything that we will go over will be in here. And I try to only open up what you need as to minimize confusion. But as you can see here, in this folder we have the first 9 weeks, and to sum it up, it's safety and introduction to small engine repair. The second 9 weeks is internal combustion engine, cooling, lubrication, and governors. The third 9 weeks is 2 and 4 cycle engine inspection and electrical systems. Fourth 9 weeks, ignition, starting maintenance, and troubleshooting, and oh yeah, there's welding in there too. All right, so let's take a look at the first 9 weeks. We'll click on here. All right, it's spelled out relatively simple for you. Week 1, well, this was last year's, was August 23rd to the 26th, and a brief overview of what's in there. The student handbook and introduction to safety. Weeks 2 and 3 was August 29th through September 9th, Chapter 2, Safety First. Weeks 4, this was only a 1-week chapter. 11th through the 16th was Chapter 1, Introduction. Yeah, the chapters jump around a little bit, but there's a reason for that. We need to get safety out of the way as quick as possible. That way there, we can get you in the shop. Because if you're not in the shop, then you're not utilizing the program the way it should be. So the first thing we're going to jump on after week 1, which is, the student handbook and intro to safety, is all about safety. All right, then we go to week 4 was the introduction, Chapter 1. Then let's just take a look at something here. We're going to jump to weeks 5 and 6. We're going to click on that, and I'll explain. Once we get into weeks 5 and 6, here's our learning guide. This 3 PDF. We click on this. This is the pages from the chapter. This is exactly what is in the Power Equipment Engine Technology Handbook. Okay, this is what's right inside of there. And this happens to be Chapter 3, Tools. Any information you need is going to be right here. These are all the key terms. These are what you're going to be going over. And this will be an assignment that you'll see shortly. Everything about the chapter right here. You will notice that some letters are highlighted. See that wrench is right there? Okay. You will also notice that that is right here in key terms. This is going to be an assignment, so you want to listen up on this. When we go, let me back out of this. One of the assignments that we have to do every 2 weeks is our key terms. So I click on this right down here, Chapter 3 Key Terms. Chapter 3 Key Terms comes up. And these are all obviously the key terms, and they have to be completed. Let's do an example here. Let's do a preview of it. Start attempt. Okay. In the book, word for word, you're going to find this sentence. In those cases when exact precision is needed, this is known as drag and drop, blank should be used. The blank is used to measure the size of a part or a component. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to go and you're going to look in the chapter highlighted. You're going to either find dial indicator, micrometer, micrometers, and vernier caliper. You're going to find this exact sentence in the chapter. Okay, probably if you look and find these highlighted words, you will find it. And you're going to simply click, let's see, in this case, when exact precision is needed, I'm going to say micrometers should be used. The blank is used to measure the size of a part or a component. Now, any one of these could be used to measure the size of a part or component. But the key to it is finding within the book where this is highlighted to figure out which one of these is the right choice. So let's jump out of here. And we're going to go to the book. And feel free to open up another window while you're doing this. And I'm going to open it up full screen to make it easier. And we're going to be looking for micrometers because we know it's something associated with micrometers, and it will be highlighted. Bear with me here while I find it. But what I'm trying to do here is get you the idea on how simple these really are. Does it require a little bit of patience? Absolutely. But are the answers there and easy to find? 100%. You just need to know what you're looking for. Air bench grinders. There, okay, now we're getting precision measuring tools. This is where you will find, here's vernier caliper highlighted. Okay, as mentioned, vernier calipers can be, let's look at the micrometers. In those cases where, here it is. In those cases where exact precision is needed, micrometers should be used. So here's the sentence, word for word, that you were looking up there on those key terms. So all the answers you need are right here. Okay, so there's our book. There's our key terms. Again, the key terms are due when they're due. And it will show up when I put the set dates in there. You'll be able to see when they're due. But this one here, if you're absent, if you're sick for 2 weeks and you miss out, then yeah, I will open it back up for you to do. But if you're here and you just decide that, hey, I'm gonna blow that Friday off and I'm not gonna get this done, well, guess what? This one's gonna be late. Now the tool test will only open up on the day of the test. And if you're absent, it's not the end of the world. You come see me, you'll have 3 days, okay? 3 days to come see me, and we'll get this back, I'll get this opened up, we'll make arrangements, and you can take this test. But this one, once it expires, it expires. So please don't come to me 6 months later and say, hey, I'm failing, is there anything I can do? No, not with those. Okay, so again, these are the worksheets that you will have to do for this chapter. Now I have them printed out for you already, so we'll discuss that later, but just so you know, the worksheets are here. The PowerPoint that we'll be going over in class is here. Everything that you need, for the classroom side of this is right here. And if it's not, please bring it to my attention. But I'm pretty sure, I mean, I've been building these for a couple years now. Everything you should need is here. And eventually what's going to happen is you're going to start seeing videos show up in here. In addition, there are things called Ed Puzzles, which I have you guys doing. We'll talk about that later. And there'll also be little videos for shop help that you'll see showing up in here. So that's the basic overview of how this all works. Every 2 weeks typically is the way it, the way it boils down. With the exception of a few chapters, they might only be 1 week, but for the most part, you're going to find that these are 2 weeks long. I believe there's one, I think it might be basic electricity. When we get into that, that's going to be a 3-weeker. That's a doozy. Let me see if I can find it. Basic electric should have been in the third 9 weeks. Weeks 6 and 7, weeks 8 and 9. Here was a big one. Weeks 3, 4, and 5. That was the introduction to 4-stroke engine inspection. But, here again, you'll be going through this. For all your first-year students, you'll be going through this all. The dates will change a little bit. Like I said, this is last year's curriculum. But it will look identical to this, okay? You click on it. Here you are. Oh, here's some Ed Puzzles right here. These are some assignments that I have you do. They're kind of fun. You have to interact with the video, answer questions as we go along. These will not open up right now for me to show you, but these are what they call, when you see these 2 right angle rulers, that is known as an Ed Puzzle. And that should be it for this portion of the Introduction to Schoology. Okay, so I guess the one last, the video that kind of wraps it all up here. So you're in here, you're in the AM, you're in the PM, whatever it may be. Typically about 15 minutes before the end, I'm going to call cleanup. At that point, you need to get all of your tools put away, get everything accounted for, and it might even be 20 minutes before. Don't hold me to either time. But we're going to get all of our stuff put away. We're going to get our tools accounted for, get everything locked up, get everything signed back in. For those of you that don't know what these are brooms. And we use them to keep the floor clean. So don't be afraid of them. They don't bite. If you've got a mess, if you see a mess, or if you're bored and looking for something to do, you will amaze me if you pick one of these up and start sweeping floors with it. Not having jousting matches, actually sweeping the floors, okay? Clean up after yourself if you make a mess. It's just good practice, okay? I know this is a mess here, but again, this was summer camp, and believe me, by the time you start, these will all be gone. Nothing to see there. So you get all done, and unfortunately, we only have one sink here. Okay, so back here in this room is where our sink is, or if need be, the restrooms, or you can use Auto Body. They have a very nice sink there. But this is our humble little sink, soap, towel dispenser, and this is basically where we keep, if you're curious, this is where I keep a lot of my teaching tools, all stacked back within here, and including all of the engines, which you first-year students will be working on at some point when I see fit, so that you can actually, this will be a live engine, and when you are done with it, it has to run, so bear that in mind. So there you go, that's the cleanup. Oh, by the way, don't get caught back here vaping. That'll get you written up real quick. Okay, so now I'm going to take a moment to show you a little bit about all of our specialty tools. And as I said before, we have our cabinets, which if you need anything other than what's in the black toolboxes, well, here's where we go into our specialty tools. Up here on the top shelf, we have things like pullers, all sorts of pullers, carburetor synchronizers, more pullers, gear pullers, things of that sort. We move down here to the next shelf. Next shelf here we have snap ring pliers, we have oodles of batteries, and this is where all our battery powered tools are. We have impact guns. Impact guns of the 3/8 and 1/2 inch size. We have battery powered ratchets for loosening nuts and bolts. We have drills. So all that kind of stuff is kept there. The next shelf down, we're looking at impact drivers for removing bolts on motorcycles, not bolts, but screws. We have a couple Torx bit sets. These long boxes, these are torque wrenches. The red box here, these are 3/8 impact sockets. The ones down below are 1/2 inch impact sockets. If you are ever using these impact drivers, don't ever use a chrome socket on them. You must use one of these impact sockets. Let me repeat that. If you're ever using an impact driver to loosen a bolt, you should never use an impact driver to tighten a bolt. But if you're using those, make sure you're using the impact sockets. There's no mistaking them. They're bigger, they're heavier, they're black, they're just made for hammering. If you use a chrome socket, you're going to get written up and you're probably going to damage the socket. So again, don't ever use one of these impact drivers unless you're using an impact socket to go with it. Okay, so that's our first cabinet. We had our second cabinet. Now we're hitting the infamous helicoil kits for thread repair. We have valve spring compressors. We have all of our tap and die sets right here for thread repair. We have 3 sets of drill bits, pretty complete. We have our easy out sets, valve grinding, valve seat cutting tools, things of that nature, a bunch of seat clamps, some odd and end. Our measuring tools, our precision measuring tools are all down here. T-gauges, micrometers. If I send you for a micrometer, that's what we're going after right there. We even have a cylinder bore gauge right here. So this will be our second cabinet. We even have for the second year students, for motorcycles, our incidence gauge, which measures the amount of, in degrees, how the forks are sloped to see if it passes a state inspection or not. So that's cabinet number 2. Cabinet number 3, well, we have a lot of odd and end stuff in here. Compression testers, yeah, it might help if I have a camera up here. Compression tester, cylinder leak down tester, a spare vacuum gauge, electric meters, an extra flashlight. We get into electrical repair. We have several kits of different crimp-on connectors, the tools for doing the crimping. These are actually tools for the grinders. We have more of the charging cords for the battery charger out there. Basic chainsaw sharpening. We don't have the mechanical sharpener just yet. So that would be the third cabinet right here. We talked earlier about the Chromebooks, and now I have this cabinet unlocked, so let's take a look. Every one of these Chromebooks is clearly marked, okay? PMS number 7, PMS Power Motorsports Chromebook number 7. You put these in here, please be courteous. Obviously, if your phone is in the number 7 slot, I would highly recommend you stick with Chromebook number 7. That way there all your, nobody should be using that in theory. You should be fine, nobody will hack you, okay? So there's our Chromebooks. Please put them in a proper slot when you're done with them. Plug them back in so that they're charged up. The only person you're hurting if you don't do that is yourself, because it should, in theory, should be your same Chromebook all the time. So bear that in mind. And that is really it for the specialty tools. All right, folks, out here in the shop, we're in the far corner as we look around. I just want to show you the way our tool system works here. This happens to be toolbox number 4. You will see as you look at this, all the drawers are pretty much labeled as to what you may find within them. If you need to use a toolbox, the first person of the day that needs this toolbox, you come over and the first thing you're going to do is you're going to sign your name and date it, and then there's 2 spots for instructor approval. This is signing it out, this is signing it in. You will find that these toolboxes are pretty well organized, okay? Drawer 1, screwdrivers and pliers. Pretty well laid out there. And they're shadow boxed so that it's easy to see if anything's missing. So drawer 1 would be screwdrivers and pliers, and a feeler's gauge and a spark plug gap tool. Second drawer. Second drawer is all of our ratchets, our adapters, spark plug sockets, nut bit sets, screwdriver sets, Torx bits, mini screwdrivers, all of our extensions, and socket driver, and a magnetic bit screwdriver. Third drawer, sockets. Lots of them. All have a spot. FYI, when you're dealing with these sockets, the blue is metric, the red band is SAE. In other words, these would be, the red would be US sizes and the blue would be metric sizes. More sockets. At the end of every shift, these all have to be inventoried before I can sign the toolbox back in. So bear in mind, if you sign the toolbox out, when you call me over to close it, to sign it back in, we better make sure every tool's in there. All right. More sockets, deep well sockets. Below here again, here's our red band on our wrenches. These would be SAE. And yes, there's an extra wrench in every toolbox. For whatever reason, these toolkits did not come with a slot for a 9/16 wrench. So that's the norm to see that one wrench sitting there. Blue, metric. Blue, metric Allen wrenches. Red, SAE Allen wrenches. Blue, metric ignition wrenches, red SAE ignition wrenches. Other little items, odd and end items that you might need: electric tape, a blowgun, test light, things of that nature. This drawer down here is where we keep all our hammers, our punches, chisels, and wire brushes. And the last one, typically just odd and end stuff: C-clamps, hacksaws, files, battery chargers, things of that sort. So there's our toolboxes, and every one of these toolboxes is identical, and every toolbox gets locked up at the end of a shift, and they get signed out or signed back in.